Hello, chat. Hello,
Says you're
chat.
live. There you
Yeah,
are.
there we
Welcome back.
are. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. I'm sorry. So apparently, is graphic card is not enough.
Well,
I
yeah, it was
um.
the resources in general. So again, it's volatile memory, random access memory
Mm-hmm.
that runs off of the memory within the graphics card too. So it could have just been doing too much over the period of time and needed a refresh, needed to restart, kind of.
Or maybe it's like because I how I installed the graphic card. We did like a test with the graphic card. We like used a chain, the cable, and I mean, if it happens also tomorrow, might be that we will see.
Okay.
We will see that. But welcome back, chat. Hi, welcome back to the stream. It's because you flamed chat. I didn't. He flamed the chat. That was not
Yeah, yeah.
me.
It was on me.
Karma. Wait. We were also watching this. We were gonna watch this video of. So you're gonna watch the video from the stream, right?
Yeah, you don't have to share it in the guest thing. I
Okay.
think that may
Okay.
have been part of the thing that was maybe slowing you down.
Okay. Okay. So then chat. We're gonna go through this through this video. It's a video about Italian talking. Uh, there's no words to be here, and we're gonna see if it's better in Italian understanding the Italian sign language, or if he's better than me in understanding the Italian sign language. Are we ready? Are we?
Can I just say one thing real
Yeah.
quick? Moshiko was saying
Yeah.
about their experience with
No, please
a
go for it.
doctor telling them that they needed the implementation, and then they were afraid, but their friends also had the implants, and so they helped them through it. And very happy that you accepted the surgery. I'm very happy for you. I think that it's wonderful. I want to clarify that when I said some people see it as a negative to get implants, I am not one of them. Coming from living 31 years of my life as hearing, I understand how impactful it can be to be able to hear, and then how impactful it is now for me to not be able to hear. So I'm very happy that you were accepted and that it did work out for you. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing to see what can be accomplished with medical and technology and stuff nowadays. So
Oh, I just realized, Chris, if at any point you have to go, let me know, all right? I don't want to steal too much of your time.
when we get done, I'm probably either going to play Valorant or Call of Duty. So
Fair. Okay. Okay. So
you had me get up at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning. What else am I going to do?
I asked you if it was going to be a problem. You said no. I usually wake up at 5 because I have kids.
Yeah, they're not here this weekend. Yeah, and I went to bed at like 3:30 because I was working on projects. So I told you last time I'm a workaholic. I don't know how to stop. So
Make me feel like shit. Do
let's
you wanna
play
go?
together. Yeah,
Do you wanna
for
go rest?
sure.
For
Let's play
sure.
together. For sure.
For sure, I should feel like shit.
No, 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 no. For sure, let's play together. Metal Addict said let's play together on either Valorant or Call of Duty. I don't know which one, but yeah, just hit me on Discord. If you're confused how or need to figure out how to get a hold of me, just ask Jake. I added him and he added me, and we're friends on Valorant and stuff. So I'm more than up to playing with anybody that's willing to play with a deaf guy who's going to be running across the map getting shot at and has no idea. So
Nice.
Valorant rank, I think right now I'm gold, but each season I've finished at least platinum or higher.
Ocho, do you have a EU account? Because you know, for Valorant, you have to be having like a EU account to be
I'm
playing
sure I
with it.
could get one.
Otherwise, how did you add Jake?
I was able to add Jake, so we
Hmm.
haven't played together yet, but I was able to add him.
Hmm.
Ask Jake everything noted. Yeah, just bug Jake. But just
Yeah.
Jake, I'm
Yeah.
volunteering you.
You can add but not play. Oh. Okay.
That's fine.
Anyway,
I can set up an EU account.
I have a NA account in case. Anyway, ready for the video?
Yes, I am ready.
Ready? Okay. Well, we're back. We should be back now.
Should be. Yep, there it is.
Chad, I guess no video. Chad, I guess no video. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
guess
YouTube is like crashing it.
it doesn't like YouTube doesn't like to be played. I think I don't know. It might be an issue with the graphic card, chat. The CPU has issue. CPU is at 97%.
Yeah. Your processor is maxing out. That's interesting. What browser are you using?
Chrome.
Chrome is pretty intensive, memory intensive usually, though. It's not CPU intensive. You wouldn't think. So maybe, is this a new setup for your PC? Like a new PC altogether?
Just a new GPU and PCU.
So a new GPU, new graphics card, and a new CPU, new processor.
No, processors, but PSU. Sorry, PSU, the power.
Oh, power supply. Oh, and you downloaded all your drivers and stuff for your graphics card. So it could be because you upgraded.
Hold on. What did you say? If I downloaded everything, I mean.
You downloaded all your drivers for your graphics card. Did you get an NVIDIA?
Yeah, I have the one that I had before.
An NVIDIA? Wait, yes. No, it's not the one you had before. The one you had before was a 3080?
No, was it 2070?
Yeah, they're different. It's different drivers. So for the 3080, if it's NVIDIA, then you can go to the GeForce experience and it'll auto detect. So you just go to the NVIDIA website and download the GeForce experience.
Oh.
It'll auto detect your card and then give you the right drivers for it.
Oh.
That will relieve the pressure on your CPU.
Oh. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm surprised you've been streaming for this long without having the correct drivers. You're running off of the drivers for a 20 series and you're running a 30 series.
Yeah.
So that's impressive that you've managed to stream for this long.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So proud of you.
I'm sorry.
So proud.
So I guess no video. No video is gonna be staying like this. Well, but we can still go for if you want to join calls, you can still do it.
Yeah, a couple more requests maybe would be.
If you
if when you get done streaming today, if you download the drivers and update it, do a stress test, and if it's still kind of maxing out your CPU while running OBS has different settings too. So OBS can use power from your CPU and it can use power from your GPU, or it can do like a hybrid where it does both. So right now it may be on the setting because of your old setup with the 2070 or 2080, whatever you had. You couldn't put as much pressure on the GPU because it wasn't as good. So it might have been running primarily on your CPU. So you can switch that with the NVENC settings and stuff to run more off of your graphics card. Since you got a 3080, that thing's a hoss. You know what I mean? Like run it off that.
I'm gonna ask you often some tips because yeah.
It's also what I do. This is like the 12th or 13th computer I've built. So
Arya, don't tell Socrates, please. Yesterday I was in a call with Socrates and Arya fixing the computer. Listen, Chad, this morning I've been trying. I was so on time. I was 20 minutes late only. And I had so many things to do before this stream. So I'm happy. Now I'm remembering that I was told to install it. Now I remembered.
What the?
What?
Shazam. Look at this cute boy talking his cute boy computer shit. There's a whole lot of ugly over here. So I don't know
shut up. I told you a lot of the stuff to do. I know, but it's not that easy. It's not that you tell me to do stuff and I do them.
Even today, with the problems that are happening, it's been scrolling. And I've been watching chat say, hey, you're supposed to do this. You were supposed to do that. So they're not wrong. See, they get flamed. You get flamed. Everybody gets flamed.
Oh, look at that. VVS Lava says, first we learn sign language and now we learn about computer. This channel is amazing.
It
you
is
see,
amazing.
Chat, we don't learn during breaks, but we do learn during weekends.
Yeah.
Because, okay, I'm going to tell you about the inner joke. I told you a little bit about, but the person was expecting me to teach stuff during the... Oh, chat. Chat, thank you for the $20. Wait, should I put like a little... Should I do a tag with the chat? We only have 4 left. Should I do a tag for chat? Yes, I do one for chat.
Yeah.
Thank you for the $20, chat. We are... Thank you so much for achieving the first goal of 1,000. We have a 1.5. Let's see if we can get so fucking awesome to get all the way there. And remember, if you are the top donator, I will DM you and we will choose the point of the tree together. Right now, the top donator is Anonymous for $400. And if you wanna, go crazy, you can go crazy. But this is for chat.
So if it's anonymous, who decides then? If anonymous wins?
Oh, I'm just gonna ask in the general chat.
Just do like a poll or something?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea.
I misspelled chat. I misspelled the chat. Hit pumpkin, yes, you can still join. Just do the request. I'm gonna put you in the stream. Just do the request.
Right, Aria? Aria just says how.
I wrote a CT. I wrote goodness Christ.
Oh my goodness.
CT.
Just how. Yep.
Wait, then I got you. Let me just refresh.
Mr. Pumpkin said this girl has 2 degrees. 2 degrees and you misspelled chat.
Easily fixable. Thank you for the $20, chat. My G is melting. Yes, I saw. Now having
you can turn a T into an H pretty easy, a capital
there we
one.
Go.
Or yeah, you could do a lowercase. I was thinking more of capital, but just do the whole thing in caps.
Oh, I could have done that. Impressive work. Thank you.
Still really good though. Yeah.
By the way, I really like our tree. The colors are so nice.
2 degrees and she gets to the second letter. Yep.
There we go. And the tree's still
Kristen,
alive.
Just punching the head. Dumbo.
Anyway, Pumpkin is ready. Let's add him.
Pumpkin pie. Now I want pumpkin pie.
Oh. Where is Pera? Yes, I closed the door because she would destroy the tree. I have a video to show you about Pera, but I'm scared she will be... Like, I'm gonna fucked up the entire thing. But let's start with Pumpkin. Pumpkin, hi. You are on stream. Don't you dare say what you always say. Wait, I don't hear you. I cannot hear you.
Check your mute button.
It's fine.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. Don't.
I won't. I
Okay.
swear. First thing I'm gonna say is, tell me if I get this straight, to Chris.
Very good. Nice to meet you too.
Oh, cute.
Now I'm excited. I got I got this one right, so it's okay.
You're on a roll. It only takes one to be on a roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually have my uncle in the police force in Italy, and he learned Italian sign language to be able to work better. So I guess I could start from there and then maybe switch to international. But actually, I'm not here to tell about myself. I was just here to ask you, since I couldn't attend from the beginning. I didn't get if you were born deaf or if you developed it, because I noticed that you have actually an incredible pronunciation and lexical is the word.
So, you getting fresh with me, Pumpkin?
No, don't worry.
No, I was not born deaf. No, I lost. I had progressive hearing loss that happened toward the end of 2019 and into 2020. So it's been about 3 years since I lost my hearing, or as I like to say, gained my deafness. Because I'm very proud of it now. Although I wasn't in the beginning, I'm very proud of it now. So I was hearing for 31 years, and then lost my hearing. So now that I'm 34, I'm in a totally different culture and totally different community. But I have the ability to speak, at least I think, pretty well and stuff because 31 years of practice, or I guess more realistically 30 years of practice, because I wasn't speaking when I was an infant. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's mostly muscle memory and stuff. Yeah. So you should have heard me 2-3 years ago. I was like radio voice, That's a lie. I never had the radio voice, but I could speak very well. I was a teacher. I was an instructor for like cybersecurity, and I traveled all over around teaching courses and doing that for a living. So I used to be really well spoken, and now I struggle to like remember how to say certain words, or things kind of run together. Sometimes they get a little slurred, or things like that. So yeah, I appreciate it.
No, I get that it's incredibly difficult, even working with partial deaf people, to like be able to, I don't know, their muscles to reproduce the sound in the correct way. So I was like, okay, this must be a thing where he was already able to speak, to hear, and then since speak, because it was like I don't know the translation for logopedista in English. I don't know.
You said it already, Chris. The one that teach you how to speak.
Speech therapy.
Speech therapy. Speech therapy.
That's the one. Yeah. That was actually my doubt in here and everything. So I don't know. Right now I don't have any other questions. So if there's someone in line after me.
Oh no. If you have other questions, if you have other curiosity or anything, you can still go.
No. I mean, right now I don't have.
Oh, okay.
There's anyone, just remember me, Chris. How is thank you? Because I think it's this one. So okay.
Yep. That's it. Thank you.
You want to try to say something that you like, to sign something that you learned?
Yeah, because you nailed nice to meet you. Do you remember any of the other ones?
The first thing in international, because I think in Italian I only know like this is Florence, I think Firenze, the city I am.
The city Florence.
Yeah, and I think since my uncle that taught me this was like attending classes during the crazy cow disease and everything. I know crazy cow in Italian is this one.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one actually crazy? In sign language in Italian?
I think
possible.
I think so. I remember it's this or inverted in the moves, but I can't recall right now. But
yeah, in ASL it would be crazies up here. So instead of like in front of you, you do it like a circular beside you. But then Cal is the same.
It's the same. Okay.
Yeah,
so
crazy Cal.
Okay. So Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pumpkin.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for joining. Bye.
I love the questions. I love people coming on. It's so awesome.
Me too, really.
Teacher's pet noted, Jake.
Let me bring us back here. Well, Chris, I think you have done your job. Chat, if you have last questions, you can still ask them. You can DM Chris directly on Discord and anywhere else. But it's time to let him go have his own day. I appreciate you very much, Chris, I really, really do. Thank you so much for joining us today for THANKMAS. That was really lovely to have you here during this occasion. Really.
Yeah, I really appreciate once again you having me on. It means the world to me to be able to help bring awareness to all of this. And I love how interested and involved your chat is and how many questions they have. So I think it's terrific, and it shows me the good nature of people. So I really, really appreciate you having me here. And again, as a last note for chat, please let me know, or I don't know, G, if you want to do a poll or something of people that are interested in maybe having like a study space somewhere that meets once a month or something. If people want to learn more, I'm more than happy to work with you guys. I'll give you all the materials I have, resources, references. We'll practice together. So let me know on Discord, or G, if you want to set something up as far as like a survey or a poll, or I don't know how you would do that, but just let me know something because I'm more than happy to do it.
Thank you so much for today. I appreciate you very, very much.
I appreciate you too. Thanks. Sorry to take up so much of you guys' time.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Have a nice Saturday.
And y'all have a nice evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Chat. Chat. Noise. Noise. How are you doing? I need to have your... source. Okay. We're not gonna be playing games. That's the point. We're not gonna be playing games. Also because in 30 minutes I will be in Angstream to react to the vlog that we did together. Can I explain you the fight idea? The fight idea, that Kanka, that was the idea was like to watch the video of like having the age vlog. We're gonna be having the I thought like about having them watch the video where there's like Italian guy going like crazy gestures and like see if he can understand as much as I can, or like maybe more than me and all of that. But chat, I don't even tell you enough. I didn't tell you enough because we were into the conversation, but you have no fucking idea how happy I am about reaching that 1,000. I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. I appreciate you very much. I was a bit scared about the goal. I was really scared about the goal at the beginning. But it's thank you. Thank you for everyone that chipped in a little bit. I appreciate you. I really do. Yeah, but people, well, venghino, signori. We still have many balls, and we still have a lot of name tags. We still have one big boy right here, a big boy right here. Thank you, Miss. Thank you for being here. A big boy right here. And Anonymous did a fucking huge thing. And we also still have a lot of like small boys here. And there is still the spout of the top, the nader to charity. Just to charity. But did you like it? Did you like today? Did you like having this conversation? Grab your balls, chat. Grab your... I'm gonna allow that mod. Sorry about that, but I'm gonna allow that message. Grab your balls. Very important. If you didn't get your... by grab your balls, I mean like if you donate $10 to charity, I'll give you a ball with your name on it. Or like I'll put a name tag with your name on it. Or a ribbon with your that one. Oh, we don't have... Oh, we still have... We still have these ones too. We still have these ones too. To be honest, that was one of your best streams. Really, I thank you, Muchi. Appreciate you. Chris is super nice. You should do more balls. We have so many. We have so many. I just need names to write on it. You know, just need name on it. You know. I thought you were talking about my private parts, and now I'm mad. What do you mean now you're mad? You were mad, now you're not mad anymore, right? No more. We have so many more balls. We have more balls. Charity and Sinan. With also the charity, I'd love that. I'd love that. What do you mean I don't understand the message? Not more balls. Ah, you don't want more balls. You don't want more balls? Why not? The proudly supporting text is off covered. Oh shit. Oh yeah, because that moved. Sorry, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're very much right. Let me fix that. There we go. Better. Move the tree. Oh, now I'm gonna move back the tree. Should I move back the tree? No, I'm gonna move it back here. I'm gonna move it here. And also, at the same time, we're also supported by NordVPN. Just let you know, get yourself secured thanks to the code and to that link that you'll find also in chat. Anyway, chat, can I get like 1 minute? I'll be right back. I'm gonna need some water. I'll be right. Entertain yourself. Entertain yourself, chat. Do you think that you can do that? Do you think that you can? What? Go with your best dad joke in chat. I'm gonna read them all. I'm gonna read all the dad jokes. All right? Yes, I'll be right back. I'll get you water too. Okay, be right back. Wait, I'm gonna mute myself also.
I was so proud when I finished the puzzle in 6 months. When on the side it said 3 to 4 years. Wife told me to take the spider out instead of killing it. ... We had some drinks. Cool guy. Wants to be a web developer. Did you hear about the cheese who saved the world? It was legendary.
Hello, welcome back. Let me see if someone actually has dad jokes. No? Oh, you were counting? What? Hi, kawaii. Wait, what was it? Mochi, I'm happy you like the stream. Thank you for appreciating the stream. I was actually... I tried to bring Petra. Try to come here, Petra. She is interested, but she doesn't move. She's flattened on the bed. Wait. I cannot show you. I cannot turn the camera. Wait, I have to... Come here. Come here.
Did you
Give
hear
us
the
content,
news?
Vera.
FedEx and UPS
Don't
are
bark
merging.
at her.
They're going to go by the name Fed Up from now on.
She's cooking.
The
Wait for
shovel was a groundbreaking invention.
it. Groundbreaking invention. Okay, good. Get lost. I'm tired trying to entertain you, cat. Oh.
What does a pirate pay
shit.
for his corn?
Chat,
A buccaneer.
how are you doing? How was the day? Did you like it? I always think that every time that Chris is here is always super entertaining and super
Me and my
interesting for
mates
sure.
are in a band called Duvet. We're a cover band.
Chris is always nice for sure. And it makes it so easy because it's just entertaining. I don't have to do anything. Wait, let me put the drop upper so you can see where it lands. Oh no, I cannot do that.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Pumpkin.
THANKMAS tip 10 euros. I couldn't on live stream, but I have to now. Sorry, mom. Since I have a white one, I need a green one now. Keep it up, less than 3.
I appreciate you. But those are going to me, not to charity. Those are going to me. Wrong place. Wrong place, Pumpkin. Wrong place. I'm gonna turn them to the PayPal, but shit, I'm gonna pay taxes on them. I'm gonna do my own donation to them at your name. But shit, where is the link? Wait, let me find it. Let me get the link. I expect too much from you. For the end of the stream and then a single donation. Oh, fair. I should. I'll wait at the end of the stream and do a single donation. But then you're not gonna... Oh, Pumpkin, it's fine. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate you very, very much to donate. I consider that as donated to charity. I'm gonna send, at the end of the stream, I'm gonna send them all. I already gave back the 10. Then, no, was it 20 or 10? But anyway, I'm gonna write your own ball. Should I write Calpestami or should I write Mr. Pumpkin? What do you mean now you're offended? No, don't be offended. Don't be offended. Don't be offended. I didn't mean it. What should I write, Pumpkin? Do you want Pumpkin or do you want Calpestami? Whatever I feel like, it's not gonna... Pera, hi. She's actually there, but she's not... She doesn't want to be seen by the camera. I'm gonna write Mr. Pumpkin 4. How do you write pumpkin? Oh, like that. Mr. Pumpkin 4. Wait. Mr. Pumpkin 4. There we go. Chat, these are the last moments that you get to have the special rewards. Special rewards on the tree. Last moments. If you didn't get your own ball, neither a white or a green one, you didn't get like your little ribbon, you didn't get your name tag, the last time that you have to get balls on the tree. No spelling points right now? Yeah. I'm gonna put you right here. There we go. I know that I keep saying it every time that I turn around, but I really, really like the aesthetic. It's super nice. It's super cute. This is a tree of chaos? It's not a tree of chaos. Make your mark on history. Yes, we're gonna keep this tree every time on the stream. You're gonna see it right there and you're gonna be able to say, oh, that is my ball. If it's my tree, it's a chaos tree. All right. Bye, Kawaii. Thank you for passing by. Don't you fucking dare. Pera. You can smell it. No, 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 no. Pera, don't. You can smell it, but nothing more. Anyway, no, Vera, I can see you even if I'm doing stop. Stupid. Stop it. Oh. If I donate again, do I get another tag or I upgrade? It depends. Do you want to upgrade or do you want to... Vera, why? No, don't eat stuff. Don't eat stuff. What would you like to have? Would you like to have another thing or would you like to upgrade? Crispy! Don't eat that. 20. Crispy, thank you so much. I got you with your name tag. Crispy, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Crispy Creamy. How is your day going? This time I saw you immediately. Fuck, I misspelled. Fuck, I misspelled. I wrote crispy with a Y at the end. Stop, Pera, stop eating. No. I wrote crispy with... It was a Y at the end. I think that I fixed it. I think that it's fixed now. I'm so sorry, Crispy. Why do I... It's always you. I'll put a heart under so I feel a little less bad. It's perfect. Sorry. Wait. It's better, right? It's always you, Crispy. I'm so fucking sorry. I'm so fucking sorry, Crispy. It's always you. I promise. I don't do it on purpose. I promise. I don't have you with a nickname say, oh, I'll troll this person. As I do for others. Anyway. I'll put you right here is missing one. There we go. Crispy. Got you right there. You have a big L? You're not the only one without a heart. Pera, why do you want to eat everything, Pera? Do you want something to play with? Haha. This is the shit, Pera. This is the shit. Let's make a little gift for Pera. Check the wood stuff. I will bet on it. Nah. We need something at the end that she can eat. Not a bowl. Well. A minute. We can use one bowl for Pera. She's already down here. We can use one bowl for Pera. If you want to have the one... Jake! Jake! So do you want the upgrade? Jake, do you want the upgrade? Do you want one more? Jake, shit! Thank you for the total of 100. Jake, I decide? Holy! I mean, you deserve a ribbon. You deserve a ribbon. You do. Chat, shall we give them like the last ribbon? Or one more tag? One other one of these. Which one do you think we should give them? The ribbon? The ribbon? What do we do with the other tag? He upgraded twice. He deserves a ribbon. Fair enough. Fair enough. He actually got the previous deal. He got the last ribbon is gone, chat. The last ribbon is gone. Is gone. I'm gonna do Jake. I'm gonna put Ness on the other side. Just because I like it to be. There we go. There we go. Thank you for the 50 more. Thank you for a total of 100. I appreciate you. Wait, stop turning. Stop fucking, stop. I'm gonna put you right here. Here. I like it here. Here it looks fine. Sitting on it. Alright. There we go. Beautiful ribbon! Pera. We were doing the gift for Pera actually. Where did it go? Pera, did you get the... Did she get it or did I put it somewhere that I cannot find it anymore? Pera, did you get it? Did she get it? Pera, where the fuck did you put it? Am I crazy? Did you see it? Did you see her getting it? Did you see me cutting it? I'm so confused right now. Did you see me cutting like the ribbon or not? I did cut the ribbon, but then I didn't. Am I sitting on it? No. Where did you put it? Did you eat it? Did you eat it? You stupid cat. Let me check if it's under the bed. No, it's not under here. Or, Chad, have I gone crazy? Have I gone crazy? I think so. I'm starting to think so. There are 3 on the tree. The red. Oh yeah, 3 ribbons. Those ones, yes. I'm thinking about the silver. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. Peta deserves a gift. Yes, I'm gonna give her a little gift for sure. Sorry, Chad. I feel that my brain is a bit confused. Okay, wait. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Guglia time. Shut up. Shut up. By the way, is Anko already live? He is? Okay. Good to know. Intro done? Okay. Is it saying hi, hi, and still hi? Or is it already like... Peta really wants to play. She's like, you see her? She's just like doing stuff with... He's about to read the folio del content. Come here. Come, Peta. Come on, you. Now we make Peta tired a little bit. Hey! A circus cat. This is a circus cat. Is explaining what an alberoato is? Is mine an alberoato? Morocco beat Portugal for real? Nice. I also heard that Croatia beat Brazil. Is it true? Is it actually the year of the outcast teams? Because I have no stars on top. But I'm gonna put like a point that is not a star. I love this World Cup. I haven't seen a game, not even one, but yeah. It looks like the outcast. I love it. I'm thinking we're still gonna choose with you, chat, I guess. If no one gets to if no one gets higher than anonymous, we're gonna choose together what point to get for the tree, and it's not gonna be a star, right? Tonight we have England, France, so England should win, right? Because of the outcast. Right. Should we get Peta a gift for Christmas, like a real proper game? I am joking. I am joking. Hi, Palola. How are you doing? How is it going? Oh shit! Oh, Peta, the ball fell away. Maybe this is better. Maybe you actually like it more. Oh yeah. Oh yes, demon cat. Oh yes, demon cat. Sorry, I'm having fun with Peta. My Italian heart is confused on who to cheer for tonight. England. We're cheering for the weakest ones, aren't we? No. Remove that paw. Remove that paw. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Shitty! Hi! Shitty, how are you doing? Yes, definitely knocking over the tree. Nah, it's gonna be okay. By the way, do you like this angle? Do you like this angle for not the study with me, but these kind of streams? Do you like this one? Leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it. Oh. Ah. That's great, nice. Bella gets very fat during winter. She gets very fat during winter. I don't know why. Like she does get like completely different face also, I think. I think that during winter she gets like her entire face like even puffier. I remember once I came back I was in Taiwan, right? So I left during why she doesn't have the VIP anymore. Anyway, for a sec, like I saw her during summer. She was super skinny. And then I saw her in winter because I've been away for all the time. And when I came back, I saw her and she was so fat. And I was like, bro, what happened to you? What the freak happened to you? Basically, hibernating bear then? Kind of. Could be. Let me check on something. Oh. Wait. Okay. Sometimes the badges don't work. Oh, okay. I thought Cammy went on a full mini mode and just deleted her VIP because like I don't recognize her. I'm not calling her fat. I'm just saying like she was chubbier for sure. For sure she was chubbier. That's why during winter we try to let her play. Wait. Yeah. You're so cute. You're so fluffy. You're gonna die. Anyway. Anxious to follow the content. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for the updates. Ash could lead us on the clip. Anyway, I want to be doing more of these kind of streams for sure. Like, I think that having Chris on stream is very, very useful for all of us. Like, I want to learn. We didn't, even today, like, it was more like an interview to him. And I want it to be more like a class. Because, but at the same time, the fact that he doesn't, like, he's been learning since 3 years, right? Scam stretch. Sorry, Birdman. Sometimes sometimes I don't see stuff. I'm sorry. I'm stretching. Stretched. Okay. Sorry. At the same time, it started to be again like an interview when I wanted to be like a class, but I know that he has been learning since 3 years. So it's difficult like to teach something that you've been learning for only 3 years, right? Like especially like you, in order to learn. I stretched. Sorry for the cracks. Yeah, I crack. I'm old. And now she's knocking on the door because she wants to get out. Wait, let me open the door. Get out. Go on your leg. Anyway, I wanted to bring him here more often, but without having it like an interview, more like a class. But I think that it would be like complicated. We would have to like organize something, right? I have to think about it, how to make it. But Chad, I'm very happy that we achieved that. I'm very, very happy that we achieved the 1,000. He answers so many questions. Yeah, I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, another interview would be so much. Oh, thank you, Cooper. I appreciate you. I feel like another interview would be so much, like a little bit too much. Like, we have covered many of the questions. And even if someone did not hear them, it might be repetitive for someone that already heard them. So a class would be the best thing. I just need to figure out how to do it, how to organize it. By the way, thank you, Kanka, for the pat. Tomorrow we will have the Dumbos games. Tomorrow, let me check who. I don't remember if Chris said he's coming in the end or not. But I have to check back on. I think that I'm missing one spot. I have to check because someone like just said that they cannot join, so I have to check back on them if they can. I will work hard to have everything available tomorrow. But tomorrow, we're gonna be having the first episode of the Dambos games. If you don't know what the Dambos games are, it's because you are one of them. You are a Dambo. Dambos games is a trivia game show that we're gonna start tomorrow. Cooper, I usually do always in English. Sorry about that. But later in Ank's stream, I'll be talking in Italian. But tomorrow, we're gonna have the first episode of a series of these games because I think that it will be very, very interesting to have for the future, where I will be asking questions to to 8 players. 8 players that are coming from chat. They're either streamers. They're I don't know. They're just viewers. Like anything. That's what is happening tomorrow. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. it's starting. So I'll be starting the stream at around 1 p.m. I think, if I'm not too late. But that is going to happen, and chat will be able to also play. You will also have the questions, and you will also be able to answer. The faster you are, the more correct answers you get, the more points you get. If you get on top leaderboard, I don't know what I'm going to give you, but something. We can decide together if you want to. Would that be, like, what would you think? Actually. Well, okay, so to the player. It cannot be money. Okay, listen up. It cannot be money for legal things. It cannot be money. It could be like a postcard or like something like that, but then if you're so far away or like if you don't have a good post office and it's, so I don't know. Yes, I am Bolsissimo, yes. So I don't know. What could it be? A tournament with the winners. If you are the winner in the, oh, that's true, Meta. If you are the winner of the tanks of the trivia, then I'm gonna have, after 8 episodes, I'm gonna collect all the winners. I'm gonna let them play together. You would also have a special badge. Yes, you are the winner of it. Do you want to play? I actually have 1 free spot. Okay, Ank is available whenever I want. So chat, today was lovely. The Champions League of the Dambos. Yes, today has been lovely. It was fucking crazy. Did you see that we got to 2K? Did you see that we got to 2K for those viewers? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Thank you so fucking much for being here today. 2.8 was the highest one? Shit, Air Potato is gonna join. Oh, do you like them? Air Potato is 3K? Oh shit, I didn't even see that. I think that because I had to restart the stream, then all the views went low, but I have 3.2 was the I'll tell you. I saw 4. Shit, now chill the fuck up, chill. People, I fucking appreciate you for being here. I really, really do. It really means a lot, especially when we're bringing content like this. I really appreciate you. Thank you so fucking much for reaching the goal of the 1K. We put 1.5 later, but the real goal was 1K. I really appreciate you. We have no more ribbons. I still have some of these tags and some more balls that maybe I can find new ways to, you know, maybe I can find the, you know, I don't know, some kind of new usage for those. 10.8, shut up. I'm gonna send, let's do a raid to Ank since I'm gonna be there, but I will be talking in Italian. People will be asking about the H vlog. Yes, I'll be showing you a version of the H vlog that Ank will send me. Oh god, hi! I'm gonna watch a version of the H vlog with you in live one day. Without the voiceover of Ank, because right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it like in Italian. So we're gonna raid Ank, who is streaming in Italian. If you wanna join and just still be there and try to talk in Italian with us, it would be lovely. Hi, Urgod. But I generally super appreciate you. Chat, do you understand how much is 1,000? That's so fucking much. In one day, in like 7, how many hours? 5? In 5 hours, 1,000? That's so fucking much. I appreciate you so much for it. I really, really do. I'll see you all tomorrow at 2 for the Dambos games. I hope you are as excited as I am. It's your monthly salary. That's the point. That's so much. And we're giving all of that to charity for people to eat. People, thank you so much for being here today. If you want to know more, have more information, if you want to ask me more questions, DM me on Instagram. I always answer. I try to answer to everyone. If you want to play the Dumbos games, there is a link here, or you just DM me on Instagram. I'll try to push you like to the link, the right one. But I love you. I really fucking do. You're always giving me such a good vibes. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Have a beautiful night. Bye.